change, I really couldn't say. In this life there's nothing certain, except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing, I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known that would have kept me from the one I have today. Times gone by, I've traded like dirt into clay. I thought my memories would end. One street over's now 1,000 miles away. When I close my eyes, I'm back to where I've been. In this life there's nothing certain, except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing, I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known that would have kept me from the one I had today. I took a walk one street over from my home, cracked and broken asphalt everywhere. I could have ended up just like that broken road, with a dead end in my path. Thank the Lord that I've got more than that. In this life there's nothing certain, except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing, I won't forget the lessons that I don't deserve. Because one street over there's a life I could have known that would have kept me from the one I love today.
Okay. If you're watching on social media, you're going, what in the world's going on, LaVern? We're having one of those moments where the microphone came off in my hand, and now I'm trying to get everything turned down and turned off. Hello, this is 1100 WSGI. Brian Pulley's in the house, and I got to not touch this microphone because it's going to come off in my hand. So frustrating. I was here early.
You're being good.
Today.
I can attest to that.
Early today.
You're hard at work
And
when I got here.
I'm in here, and I'm getting ready to turn the mics on, and it comes off in my hand. And so, hi, everybody. Again, in case you missed it, this is 1100 WSGI. I'm Utah LaVern, and this is one street over. Brian Pulley's in the house.
Good morning.
And I appreciate you coming in.
Yes,
at 7.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
We have TriStar North Cross coming in, and we've got them coming in to talk about the remote emergency rooms, the freestanding emergency room stuff's kind of clarifying what that is versus emergency or urgent care, and so that's going to be good. And so they come in once a month in your slot, but normally they would be last week, and they asked to switch, and it was just kind of
All good.
and
All good.
always accommodating and flexible.
Sure.
And
Sure.
appreciate you, brother.
Yes, ma'am. Happy to be here.
We were talking about our summer, and
Beautiful summer.
it was just we both have had great summers, and we were sharing. I tried to say I was like running like a cat with my tail cut off. We got all of our little
It
countryisms.
is 7 a.m., so let's factor that in, too.
We were trying to clarify. No, it's chicken with your head cut off.
That's it.
Like a cat in a room full of rocking chairs.
There
And
you
then
go.
I got to share my infamous quote from my mother, well, cat my dog.
Yeah.
And we just leave it at that, and y'all can figure it out. Just like we're trying to figure out all the acronyms for all the different things. You know, it's just the way it goes.
Is the group are they talking about like the what they're building in Cheatham County as well, like that those stand up, those are going to be phenomenal. I think
Yes.
there's a lot of people that are not near healthcare, especially like we think about a lot of our farmers and people out working and stuff, and you get injuries and you're not even close to anything. What do you do? Yeah, so that's great. They're doing that.
Yeah, I think so too. And so that's what we're going to be talking about with TriStar Northcrest today, and we're excited to put it in. But I'm so excited to talk to my friend Brian because I swear it's been forever.
It was a couple weeks ago. It's been just one of those summers, and we're in a little bit of another transition phase, the United Way, which is it's a good transition. We're taking in another county. Sumner County is coming alongside of us, and so we've been working all summer to try to get them in the fold and work with the account. I've got some accounts up there that I'm working with now. I had a meeting with one of them yesterday, who's been a long partner in Sumner County, and just excited to get them on board. And I just think their strength in numbers, and it's gonna be good for their community. It's gonna be good for the United Way. It's gonna be good for Middle Tennessee. So we're excited.
Well, and I forget that we actually have talked since I got back from my trip because it was right before the big school bash thing.
Yes.
And then we were out for a couple of weeks because you were busy with that.
So, I was.
So that's right. We've visited some
It's been a couple, but it's been sporadic.
Super busy.
It's been sporadic. So we did have Stuff the Bus back in July 14th, 15th for us. Yeah. So that is a long-standing day of action for the United Way. We serve all 10 counties with that day of action. This year our goal was 15,000 backpacks. We were able to do over 16,000 backpacks for kids throughout our footprint. They come to every single county and are dispersed out. We also had almost 500 volunteers this year, which is just really cool. And I think it's a testament to our partnership with Hands On, formerly Hands On Nashville, now Hands On. They are a volunteer arm now and just do an excellent job as gathering volunteers, communicating with volunteers, training volunteers, and on the day of to be able to get everybody where they need to go. Because if you've ever volunteered anywhere and you're not really getting great communication before, and then you show up and nobody knows what you're really supposed to be doing, and it's like, why am I wasting my time? Like, it's not a waste of time,
but you feel like
I want to be doing
really
something.
Need me?
Yeah. So with Hands On running it, that does not happen. You get great communication because I sign up with their portal just like everybody else, even though I'm an employee. Right. So I get the communication before. It has the parking, has all the stuff, has the times, has what time. Here's my favorite part about it. I think is important, especially when you're got people that are kind of squeezing it in maybe during a work day or they're got to go pick up their kids or whatever. When they tell you your shift is 7 to whenever, let's say they're going to get out, 10 a.m. is going to be done. You are done at the time you say you're going to be done because I think I've been at projects where it just lingers. I was like, can I leave? Is this okay? I don't want to
be that.
I don't want to be that, but I have other places to go, and I kind of factored it in my day. They make sure that they're on top of that all day and respectful of our volunteers' time, which I think is fantastic. And I believe when you do that, it makes people want to show up more because they know that it's going to be well run. And then also, when they get there, we have our little powwows. Everybody has a job. They know what they're supposed to be doing. We have volunteer leads. I was a volunteer lead. That was a questionable decision by everybody involved, but I did get to kind of oversee my little line.
I know you did great.
Once we got it figured out, we had to, on the second day, we do all the actual stuffing of the bags. They get all the supplies sorted on day one. That's the drop-off day. Yeah. Day two, we actually sort everything. First 10 minutes when they cut everybody loose, it gets a little hairy in there, just trying to figure out how we're going to do this because it's very much an assembly line.
You got to get your rhythm.
You got to get your rhythm, and you got to figure out, hey, we've got too many here. We need one extra here, and da-da-da. Yeah. Once that gets figured out, it's a well-run machine. So really cool. Was happy to see all the volunteers come out. Had companies from all over Middle Tennessee. Some of my partners were there. And stuffed a lot of backpacks in a short amount of time. The Titans, big shout out to them, or our hosts again at their facility. It'll be last year in their old stadium. So next year, hopefully, we'll be in the air-conditioned new stadium. That would be really cool. But they actually get out and volunteer with us too. Not the team, but it's like the administrators and a lot of front office people get out there. And so really cool to see them get involved in their community and just overall good deal. And then we get them back out to the counties. ACE and our community impact team, they work on the best way to distribute those. I know there was an event here, their back to school bash with Chosen puts on, I think last Saturday at Springfield High School where they distribute backpacks. Yeah. So we've got folks in the community that are doing it as well, and we don't want to take anything away from them. We want to make sure, if anything, we're supporting them, but then we have our own individual routes. We can go through directly through school administrators or FRC. Or our goal is just to get them in the hands of the kids that need them. And so however that happens with community partners, with our schools, with however it works, that's our goal, is just to make sure that as many kids as we can possibly get in the hands that need school supplies and can go to school and do what they need to do, that we're taking care of that, because we know the supplies are how expensive everything is right now.
So what would be the route? Let's say that, Mark and I both being in the school system, we see kids that need stuff.
Yeah.
So we should start, I would start with my counselor within the school.
That's the best place. Yep.
This is what I need. Now, as a bus driver, he's dealing with kids that go to Coopertown.
Right.
And so, because it arose last year, he's like, man, this kid's getting on my bus, and I think they have some needs and stuff, and I don't really know where to start. And he would reach out to the administrators at the schools.
Yes.
That's where we need to start.
That is the best place, because they're the front lines.
Right.
Then they're going to communicate with the folks that we work with, in the Robertson County office.
Right.
And then
family resource,
right. and the social workers there that kind of deal with it. We have relationships with them. Ace has great relationships with them. She's going to be able to communicate with them. I mean, they text, call, whatever, so they're gonna be. And so if we have opportunities, we'll do our best. Unfortunately, it's one of those situations that feels like the need is greater than what even as a community, what we're trying to embrace these kids. It's just like, and it constantly changes. But yes, that's the best route of action, and we'll do our best to help. Right now, it's kind of like when people are volunteering at Christmas time, everybody during Thanksgiving and Christmas wants to volunteer and work at food, and they're overrun really with supplies and stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's a little similar for schools right now. Everybody's like, we want help. We got school supplies. Then come, middle of the year, they're like, we need some stuff. Yeah. And so there's other times throughout the year other than just this time that needs arise. And so I would just encourage you to plug into your schools if you can, if you have time to help. There's going to be constant needs. We work with our kid's teacher, and just like as she has needs, we try to help her throughout that, because then we don't want teachers going in their pockets. And so there's many ways to help. But yes, to answer your question, go to the counselors first. They're the ones that are going to be trained in how to deal with that, because each situation can be kind of delicate sometimes, and we don't want to embarrass the kids either. That's because kids are mean, and Donnie at 10 Kids, has his the backpack program and the food distribution, and they're very discreet on how they get those that food to those kids for the weekends and all that. And it's just like the last thing we want to do is have a kid that's already in need, and then gets kind of called out by his classmates because he can't afford or she can't afford whatever. So we don't want to do that to them. So the counselors are going to be best way to know how to serve in that capacity.
We run into this we've got our go night tonight for Greenbrier, and so we're going to be registering kids for our clubs and stuff. And I've never had a fee to join the broadcast club, because I want any kid to be able to do it.
Yes.
Well, because we have to be involved with these CTSOs where you compete. Now they're wanting us to have these fees, and I'm just trying to figure out how to navigate these waters, because I don't want these kids to feel excluded if they're like, well, I can't afford to put $20.
You don't want it to be a barrier for them to do what they want to do.
It's really, for teachers, it's a hard road to navigate, and because there are kids that just simply, you can tell they can't afford it, but
they're not. Yeah.
You don't want to put them in a spot, and you don't want them
right.
excluded. So,
are you able to raise funds anyway, through? Yeah, so that's my daughter's cheering at IA, and they do a lot of fundraisers. They have their jamboree on Wednesday night or Saturday night, and we get to host. And so the cheerleading team is going to get to have the concession stand, and so we're going to. Parents are pitching in and cooking and doing some things that helps them pay for their camp and their uniforms and all the things because collectively, if we pool our money together, if you do have some kids that maybe it would be tough, we want every kid to have the opportunity. If they want to do that, there's still going to be a cost involved, but we can help maybe minimize that. Yeah. And so I think that would be the same thing. There's a way you can collectively do that and because some families may be able to do a little more, and that's great. And if you have a kid that's struggling a little bit, and that gets them in the door, so you don't want anything to be a barrier, and especially you might have a kid that's really talented, and it just needs that avenue that you're providing, and you don't know the spark that's going to come from that.
I know, and we have our talent show, and we last in the spring we let it be free, and so. And there was a lot of reasons why, but I think we're going to go back to, putting a charge on that, at least for the evening show, so that way we can have a source. Because we raised quite a bit of money that first show we did, but we're doing 2 talent shows a year now.
That's great.
And I learned something something new every year about navigating the waters of education, because I'm like, oh, I didn't know that, So I'm learning, y'all, but I'm getting a little bit better. I'm starting my 5th year.
That's crazy.
Isn't that nuts?
That is. You're a veteran. You're a full-on veteran at this point. I remember when you first started, and you were just kind of like, I don't know what to expect. I would be. I can't even imagine. Going into that arena. I mean, that's especially today. So
little knucklehead kids that tried to tell me, it's like we played this little game where it's like, I'm going to tell you something about me, and if that's the same thing for you, then you stand up.
Right.
It's like, I like Choco sandals. I like Choco sandals. Those kinds of things. And one of the little knuckleheads, and you know who you are, boys. They're all graduating grown men now, but they graduated last year, and I'm a felon.
I'm a felon.
And then there was like 3 of them stood up. Okay. They were felons. And and I was just like, And one of them I looked at, and I thought, you might be.
Yeah. Very possible. But
they were sophomores.
Yeah.
And one of them's dad's actually in law enforcement.
Yeah.
And he knows who he is. All 3 of those boys ended up just being some of the ones I was closest to. I just loved them to pieces.
Yeah.
But I always called them my little felons.
Yeah.
But they were just hysterical. I was like, they were messing with the new teacher.
They were giving you a little hard time.
Yeah. But it's good. But we're back at school, guys. Teachers will be back in Monday. And kids come in on Tuesday for a half day, full day on Wednesday. Then they're off on Thursday because
election.
Then we're back for a full day Friday. Teachers have a professional development day on Thursday. I didn't realize that. I was so sad. I thought I was going to get an extra. I'm trying to stain my
just a little day in there. Yeah.
Well, I've got so much. I'm still trying to get done at home, before school starts, and I'm just running and gunning, but we'll get it done. We'll get it done. Brian Pulley's here. I want to pause and listen to the Valor Insurance, the Valor Mortgage ad, because I want you to tell them your story about Chris just taking care of it for you.
Absolutely.
Because that's something you don't think about when you think about a mortgage company. You think, oh, it's a new mortgage. Well, no, they can do the refis. And just tell them, I was talking about Chris one day, and Brian just kind of started in, and I'm like, well, just go. So tell them about your experience.
Well, I'll start with Chris and I met, I think through Leadership Robertson County. We were doing it at the same time. And then he mentioned wanting to maybe support the United Way. So I met with him about the United Way stuff. And he, made a nice contribution for us and wanted to support some stuff we were doing at the time. So we started our relationship there. And then I knew that I wanted to potentially get my house refinanced, because when we got it, the rate was good, but it wasn't like these historical rates we were getting. And so I was like, the timing was right. So we just took it. And I knew at some point we would refi. I was afraid of the process. I'll be honest. It's like, I don't want to do this. It's going to be so much paperwork and time, and I don't want to do all this. So I talked to Chris about it. He said, man, so easy. He said, I promise you I'll take care of you. I gave him all my info. We started the process. I may have spent a total of 1 hour just dealing with it at all, of my time, and it was filling out some stuff and reading through some stuff. Got to the close, knocked it out right before COVID in 2020. I think it knocked 1.5 points off of my loan, which is very significant, and gave us a great rate. Couldn't have been better to work with. Couldn't have made it easier. Couldn't have been smoother. Everything was on time. And just a really smooth process, and saved me a ton of money. So that's all I know to say. It was,
there you go.
Couldn't have been easier. I don't like to have to deal with my wife is more detail oriented than I am. So that stuff really hurts my head to have to deal with all that. He couldn't have made it easier. And then you saved a good chunk off my house payment. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Testimonial.
There you go.
I love it. And that's what you get with Valor Mortgage. They're not going to treat you like a number. They're your neighbors, and they're going to work with you. And Chris and his experienced loan officers at Valor, they have access to VA loans, FHA loans, conventional jumbo financing, all the tools you need to get to the closing table or to the refi table, whatever it may be, or investing in your future, they're ready to serve you. Call them 615-671-9178, 615-671-9178, or go to valor.mortgage, valor.mortgage. Get pre-approved today, because when it matters most, you deserve a lender you can trust. Buy with confidence. Buy with Valor. Valor Mortgage, NMLS number 1210804, DBA of Encore Lending Group, NMLS 1249911. Equal housing lender, subject to credit approval. Rates and terms subject to change without notice. Not a commitment to lend. Let them know you turned and Brian sent you. How about that?
Go do it. Knock it out.
Go do it.
Go do it. If you've been thinking about it, knock it out.
All right. So what else have you got on your plate
We are
to talk about?
full on blowing into campaign season. I always like to mention. So, and two, it's top of mind. A lot of people don't know this, but at the United Way, we have an internal campaign. So we run a campaign with our employees just like we do at our companies. And so I always feel like if you're going to work for a nonprofit and get out and talk about how great the nonprofit is that we work for, which I truly believe they are. I've been there 7 years now, and they truly walk it out like they talk it. And it's not lip service. This is how the daily operation is. But we also run an internal campaign, so it gives our employees a chance to give. And so we're in the middle of that right now. I'm proud to say we have already exceeded our goal and exceeded what we gave last year, which was great. It means everybody's stepping up and supporting the cause and what we work for. But we have a week full of activities, and I'm going to say this, and it's just a good reminder. So a lot of the companies I talk to, ever since COVID, they went, remote, hybrid, all these things. They're disjointed. There's like, how can we get our employees engaged? We can't get them in for stuff. Like they work a 3 and 2 schedule, and we can't line up the days to do stuff here in office. And it just feels like you kind of didn't have that connectivity that you may have before, or they're not as engaged. We had a thing yesterday, cookout at the office. I'd say we had just about everybody, I think, that staffs there, except for people that were out of town, came. Fellowship, people talking. I noticed long after it was over, people were still at the tables having conversations, personal conversations, work conversations, whatever. The engagement was there. It was an opportunity to bring them in. They're feeling good about the fact that they're giving to something that's helping their community. That's great, but also there was a reason for them to come in. And I think when people do that, their mind's like, hey, I kind of like some of these people. You know what I mean? Like these people are cool. These are some of my friends. I miss seeing them, because I work Monday, Wednesday, Friday. They work, Monday or Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, whatever it is. And so I would just encourage you, if you've considered doing a campaign, there's many facets to it. We can walk you through this step by step. I promise you, it is super simple. We'll make it as easy as we can on your side. And it's a chance to, one, support your community. It's not just about the finances. I always say that. It's like it gives us an opportunity to come in, educate your employees about resources that are available right there in their community, whether they need it or they have family that needs it, friends need it, or might not need it right now, but might need it in the future. It allows us to talk about all of our great partner agencies we work with and what they do in our community that makes it a better place. And so that is my number one thing. I just want to get in and make sure you're aware of that. Yes, we have to raise money, but also then we have a partner in the community. We love connecting people. So when needs arise or things happen and we go, we know them. I've got a person over there, and they connect, and then all of a sudden there's a beautiful relationship that's been formed there. So it just makes our community stronger in general when we're all working together, and that's our goal. You call it all the time bridge builders.
I was going to say it. I'm glad you did.
That's what we're trying to do. And again, I'll go in. Some of my favorite people I work with, we don't raise a whole lot of money there because, they may have a small staff or for whatever reason. They're great partners because they want to serve, they want to help, they want to be involved. If you're doing that, then we're working together, and that's. We've been doing it over 100 years. Those companies like that are our backbone. That is what has made the United Way, is people that are just willing to say, I want to help. I want to make the community a little better. And how can I help? That's it. That's the only criteria we're looking for.
Over 100 years?
Yeah, we've been serving over 100 years.
That blows my mind.
Yes.
And I appreciate you and I so much, because y'all were the first ones that came in when I started doing this show, and y'all educated me so well in the United Way, and I had so many misconceptions of what y'all do, and they're just an incredible partner here at the radio station, because it helps us keep plugged into all the nonprofits. And we always say what he said about the bridge building. We talk about the chamber. That's our go-to, the bridge builder to the businesses. Right. But when it comes to the nonprofits, I've worked in the nonprofit world, in the church world, and I got to where when people would come to the benevolence center and they'd ask for services that we didn't provide, I'd say 211.
Yeah.
Call the United Way
Right.
because that's they're in, and we had through the programs that we work with Celebrate Recovery, we had somebody come in and I told you this story. It was through the 211 that I called and got a connection to a resource we needed for somebody at CR, and they just knocked it out. You just can't beat it. So
Yeah,
I
that's the
appreciate all
goal.
work you
No, that's
do.
the goal.
Yeah,
That's
for
the
sure.
goal. And we just, people are going to go through stuff and you don't think it's going to be you until it's you.
Well, it is.
And then you're going to need, if you need some help, we want to make sure that, there are people there that can help you that are experienced in your field, whatever it is that you're going through, and make sure that they can be there for you. And so, like I said, I've been here 7 years now. The people I work with amaze me all the time at their willingness to jump in, whatever needs to be done, their intelligence with this to problem solve, and they're constantly thinking about new and better ways to do it. And like I've said this before, the first year I came out of college athletics, which is hyper competitive, and it's a bunch of former jocks and all this stuff. And it's like it's very cutthroat. It's a great industry, but you just, it's different. And I got nonprofit. I was like, these people can't be this nice. Like, when are they going to start being like genuine and real with me?
Yeah.
This is just who a lot of these people are. They're they got big hearts. They want to help. That's why they're in it. And so when I gladly give to our internal campaign every year because I believe in what we do. And so when I go out and talk to people, I put my money where my mouth is. I say I give to it too because I believe in what we do, and I believe it's trying to make the community a better place. We have challenges, yes. Is it perfect? No. But the effort's being made daily just to make this a better place for our families to live. I got 2 kids in this community. They're going to school here. I'm just trying to make it a little better place for them.
I love it.
Yep.
I love what y'all do. And tell me this, if we as employees wanted to get our companies involved in it, should we do? Should we call you and
Just
say,
call me.
Call and say, hey, Brian, would you approach them and say, hey, could we possibly get this going? Because the way it works, because I know we did it when I was when I was full-time broadcaster, we had times where you had an opportunity to contribute and it would come out of your check and it was an easy thing to do.
A lot of people do $1 a check. I mean, we have been formed on $1 a check. I mean, I promise you. So it's not the money.
It's not a huge commitment on the employees, but it's that skin in the game.
Skin in the game. We need buy-in from the senior leadership.
Yeah.
Usually, like the boss has got to sign off on it. I deal with mainly the human resource people because they're going to do the payroll deduction.
Right.
So, and then they'll name an ECM, which is our employee campaign manager. That's my contact day to day at the company, and that can be whoever. And usually we come in and do a kickoff, and that's when we come in and just talk about all the stuff the employees. We have materials. They have my contact info, and then from there, it's completely up to the employee whether they give. You're not required to give.
No.
If you have a nonprofit that you really love and you give to all the time, you can still give to that nonprofit through your campaign. So you're participating in your work campaign. We'll process that and send that directly to, like, I give to St. Jude too personally because I think what they do is amazing in helping these children that are going through something so awful. And so if you wanted to do that through our campaign, you could do that. So we just want to make it. But then it gets me in the door. I still am getting to tell you about United Way stuff. You don't have to give me a dime, but I'm still going to tell you about what we got going on.
Well, and a lot of the times what happens is somebody that's an employee hears United Way come in and they're like, well, I didn't know y'all did that. And then they have a family member or they have a friend that has need, or maybe they do and they don't even realize. I know we're about out of time. We got the guys coming in from TriStar Northcrest. And so, but it's just good to talk to you guys about the things that go on all the time outside of these bigger campaigns, outside of the stuff, the bus and all that. This is ongoing.
And I'll say one other thing, like when we're working with a company, the other thing is I got a call last week from someone whose grandmother had a flooding in her home, and was just looking for resources. So I touched base with Ace because she is my go-to on stuff like that. She wrote up a very detailed email of all the resources that are possibly available to this woman.
She just pulls them out of her brain.
Literally, probably just spills out. Yeah. And I gave it back to the woman, and she was so relieved. She's like, we didn't know what to do. Yeah. And I was like, well, and that's just a company I've worked with for a long time. I would do it for anybody. But the thing is, she didn't know what to do. She went to the lady that works for the United Way in her office and said, I don't know what to do. And she said, well, call Brian. And she called me, and then I put her in touch with somebody really smart that I work with. And then there we go. And so then they've got at least some guidance. I can't take her mother in and house her, but I can't, or her grandmother, but I can get her on the right track to maybe getting some assistance and getting her in a better situation. That's the goal. That's the bridge building stuff we're talking about. It's just like, there's a company I work with, so you know me. And then we know these resources, and we can maybe put y'all together, and so get her in a better situation. It doesn't always work. Can't always fix every problem, but we try.
It does a lot of
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
And I love the program, and I love what y'all do, and I appreciate you, brother.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank
Appreciate
for
you.
coming in early.
You got
I'm gonna let
doctors
you
out
stay
here.
out.
You got doctors.
You're funny. Yeah, I told Brian, I said, I feel like I should have dressed up more with all these important names and all these important titles and all that. Not that, I don't feel that way with you, Brian, but anyway, you know what I mean. Hey, thank you, Brian. I'm going to let him, he's setting everything up for me as he makes his way out. I'm going to talk about Barry and Rebecca Richards. I'm going to try not to touch my microphone so it doesn't break in my hands. But Barry and Rebecca Richards with Exit Prime Realty. Barry's going to be in on Monday. I don't know if Becky will be with him, but maybe possibly so. I called him and I said, I like to get him in here every couple of months because let's face it, he and Rebecca are my longest running full-time sponsor here at One Street Over, and we love them so much. And they're just a great, so y'all come on in and get comfortable while I'm finishing my ad. Y'all walk on in, come on in. We're staying live. We stay live no matter what we're doing. So make yourself comfortable, and I'm going to go ahead and keep talking, but we're talking about Barry and Rebecca Richards with Exit Prime Realty. Barry's coming in because, again, it's just time for us to check in with him. But he's also got some pretty cool properties that they're offering for sale. There is a property between here and Orlinda. It has a cave, y'all. Oh, I want a cave on my property so bad. And they've got this property, and it's got a cave you can crawl into and all that. He's got a video, really cool video up on his social media page that you can check it out. He's going to come in and talk to us about that. And we're going to try to make some contact with the spelunker that went into that cave and get them to talk to us about all the things about the caves in this area. But it's just really cool. There's so many cool properties around here. But Barry and Rebecca, they handle things like that. They have got some historic properties that they're dealing with. This is super cool. Now, this is in Sumner County, but the Julius Rosenwald Fund helped build 7 schools for the African-American students in Sumner County in Tennessee, and there's only 3 that are still standing, and the Oak Grove School from 1925 is now for sale. How cool is that? And it is a neat property that is for sale. So when these historic properties come up, Barry loves to work with them, and that's just a couple of the cool things he's going to talk about when he's in here on Monday. But again, if you have any need in the real estate community, buying or selling, or maybe you want to be a realtor, part of the Exit Prime team is Brandy and Samuel Hastings now. They're part of their Exit Prime team as well. Give them a call. Reach out to them. Whatever the need might be, you can contact them at sellwithbecky.com or by BUYRobertsonCounty.com. Barry and Rebecca, they've been in Robertson County for 30 years. It's home. They specialize in Robertson County properties, but also buy and sell in the surrounding counties and across the state line in Kentucky. And if you want to give them a call, here's the number, 615-504-7425, 615-504-7425, or 7424, and always let them know that U-Turn sent you. And I'm so excited that we're getting to have a conversation with some of our excellent representatives from TriStar Northcrest. And I love the topic that we've got going on this morning because we're going to be talking about your freestanding emergency rooms, right? So we're talking with Arthur Gross and Pete Long Ennis, and all these titles that she sent me. Tell me what they mean, because as Brian and I were talking about how that each profession has its own set of acronyms. And so she sent me, and I'm talking about Paula sent me, Arthur Gross, DO, Assistant ED Medical Director, Pete Long Ennis, CEO.
Yes, ma'am.
You're Pete.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I've met you before,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
so I know who you are. Now, who are you?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. You must be Arthur Gross, DO, Assistant ED Medical Director.
That's what they
What
tell
does
me.
all that mean? I feel like I should have dressed up more because I'm looking at all these titles because I'm a school teacher and we're not yet back in school, so I'm sorry.
We like to dress comfortable at Northcrest as well. He gets to wear pajamas to
Yes.
work most days.
Oh, there you go.
That's why I picked the ER pajamas to work every day.
I love it. I've got 2 daughter-in-laws that are nurses.
Awesome.
And so they love wearing their scrubs and all that kind of stuff. They're like, huh, look what I get to go to work in.
It's hard
You
work.
know.
You might as well be comfortable.
Absolutely. So explain to us all of these things around your name.
All right, a lot of acronyms, but
Yeah.
DO stands for Doctor of Osteopathic Medicine. It's one of the routes you can take to become a medical professional physician
Okay.
in our country. The other one is MD, very similar. Just a small distinction. And then assistant medical director of the emergency department.
Okay.
I'm just the man behind the man. That's
Okay, listen to you. Well, it's so funny because Brian said, he goes, I think that's emergency director. or emergency. Yeah, emergency. But it is Dr. Arthur Gross.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much. I like to get that right.
Yes, ma'am.
I like to get that right. So, well, welcome.
Thank you.
And I love that we're talking about the freestanding emergency rooms.
Yeah.
And it was so funny because Paula sent me you all see this email she sent me, or this text she sent me, a text that's like this long. And I'm like, what in the world? And it was explaining the difference between the freestanding emergency rooms and urgent care and how to discern which one's which and which one you need to go to.
Yeah.
And so let's start by saying, where are we getting these? Where are they coming in? When do you expect them to be open, and maybe clarify? Who wants to start?
Why don't I handle some of the logistics?
That'd be
the
great.
Medical opinion we'll leave to the professionals. So,
There you go.
We had a great groundbreaking ceremony a couple of weeks ago over in Pleasant View. Our site is right off of the highway there on the exit 24, right behind the Hampton Inn right now. And so you'll see some dirt moving in that area. But we had great support from the local community, from primary care, from some of the business and civic leaders in Cheatham County and Pleasant View area. And so that is where the building will be, is at that exit 24 right off I-24. We also have an opportunity really to use that as an outpatient imaging center. And so we're going to be having CT, X-ray, ultrasound, potentially even mammography for breast imaging services. So really recognizing that is an area that we need healthcare access.
Yeah.
And so that's a great opportunity for us to frankly move the front door of Northcrest to an area we haven't served before. So that is the project that we are working on. Construction will be starting in the next couple of weeks here.
Cool.
And we are looking to open it in the early springtime, if not late, Q1. So kind of March, April timeframe, depending on construction.
So within a year's time.
Oh, yes.
That's awesome. Because, I mean, a lot of times you see those things and are like, well, in a couple of years we'll have it. No, you're talking spring.
Oh, yeah. We're moving dirt in a couple of weeks.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That is awesome. About how many people will it staff you?
So we'll have a full-time staff of around 30 individuals.
Wow. Okay.
That'll include physicians. That'll include nurses, CT technologists, our patient care technicians, a lot of folks that are going to be having an opportunity. And we know that there's a lot of folks that live in the Clarksville area as well that commute down to Nashville every single day.
Yeah.
This will be a great opportunity to cut that commute in
You
half and
bet.
still, provide their services and skills to their community rather than necessarily commuting out.
Oh, okay. Savannah has my daughter-in-law that's a nurse that lives in Huntsville, and I'm trying to get her and
Bring her up.
Well, my son he works in aerospace stuff, but he's just taken a job with a company, and he can work remote now.
Oh, nice.
He doesn't have to be in Huntsville
Nice.
anymore.
Come on home, Savannah.
There you go.
So,
Robertson
well, it's
County.
Elijah's my son,
Oh,
but I'm
Elijah.
like, if we were talking with her being a nurse, we're like,
you go.
there's jobs everywhere.
There you go.
So come on, y'all, and they're about to have they're about to bring me a grand girl in December, and so I'm like, come on,
Yep.
Our
come on.
capacity for love is about to explode.
There you go. We got all these jobs. Anyway, I just love it. But it sounds wonderful.
Yeah, we're
and I know everybody in this, I'm blessed because I live like 2 miles from here. So I'm just a few miles from TriStar Northcrest, and they're wonderful. I'm trying to, because I've always I worked in the broadcast market in Nashville for so many years. Everything I did was in Nashville. And I'm diligently pulling everything back into Springfield. All my, my cardiologist, my foot doctor, Dr. Davis, I love him. He's awesome. He's awesome, man.
he is.
I've got my brother coming up from West Kentucky to see
There you
him.
go.
He's just awesome.
great.
My dermatologist, and I'm trying to get as many people as I can in my community. And we appreciate y'all for making it so doable now.
Yeah, well, we're trying to grow, but
Yeah.
and in your community is really important, particularly as we're talking about
Yeah.
emergency medicine, because that proximity
Yep.
is really important.
You bet.
Especially time is one of the most critical factors when it comes to emergency
bet.
medicine, and so that's why with that Pleasant View site, we're going to be able to really have that access for those patients when minutes matter.
You bet.
Yeah.
But it's a different than an urgent care, and so maybe Dr. Gross.
Why don't you clarify that? Because that was one thing when she sent me all this information, I thought that's really vital information that people need to think about, because number one, it's for what it's for.
Yes.
And so clarify, we've got urgent care versus emergency care.
Yes.
Go for it,
What
doctor.
I'm most excited for and love about what we have going on is increasing accessibility to care for patients. Right.
Right.
I think if we could avoid driving to Nashville
Thank you.
for things. We sure will.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
zipping and zapping on I-24 and 40 and all that gets a little challenging at
Yes, it
times.
does.
And so that's what this opportunity presents is access to healthcare. A freestanding ER has the same capabilities as a normal emergency department, as you would say, like Northcrest, for example. We'll be staffing with the same physicians, same nurses. We have the same capabilities, same skills. We are there to help people who have all types of needs, emergent needs. We're there to stabilize patients, to make sure that that they don't have any life-threatening conditions, rule out life-threatening conditions. Treat them appropriately and address any problems they may be having going on with their bodies. It's different than an urgent care because an urgent care is meant to handle what we would call low acuity things, non-serious, non-life-threatening kind of issues going on. Basically, the rule of thumb is if you feel like you can't wait, go to the ER, right? If you feel like maybe it can wait, it's not as serious, but your primary care doctor can't get you in. Maybe you want to go to a urgent care. There's no difference in the capacity or capabilities between, say, a Northcrest ER and the Pleasant View ER. They're one and the same. Where the difference lies is in Northcrest has the ability to admit patients to the hospital.
Right.
And we have an in-house hospitalist service where you can stay overnight or stay for a few days and get continued care. Whereas a freestanding ER, emphasis on freestanding, means that there is not an inpatient hospital there. So if you need to stay in the hospital, we'll have to send you to, say, a Northcrest or somewhere else.
Right.
But we have full capability to stabilize you before getting you somewhere else.
Well, see, and Paula even sent me, she said some of the differences, she said potentially life-threatening conditions, that's a freestanding emergency room thing.
Absolutely.
High fevers with concerning symptoms, seizures, head injuries, loss of consciousness, of course, severe allergic reactions, those kinds of things. And then she goes into what goes into urgent care: minor cuts, sprains, ear infections, sinus infections, sore throats, mild flu, rashes, routine sports physicals. And what you said about if your primary care can't get you in, because that's kind of what we run into as patients now. We have our primary that we get our physicals with, but they're slammed.
Yes.
And if I have a cold, what do I do?
Yes.
That's what urgent care is for.
Yes.
And once you kind of learn that, and it's like, oh, it's no big deal. I've got a bad cold. I need, an antibiotic. I've got an ear infection, whatever. You can go to your urgent care and save your primary care for the things when you're getting your blood work and, and getting evaluated to see if you need to go to a specialist. Do you need to go see a cardiologist? Do you need to go to because Brittany Jepson's the one who sent me to Dr. Davis and the different ones and helped me find those. And so, it's just, I love how it's all working together.
Yeah.
It really is.
And you're right when you say primary care, they're slammed.
Yeah.
We are working hard to try and bring more primary care to this community.
Right.
We have some excellent physicians, excellent providers that are here doing the best that they can, truly.
Right.
But there are more needs. Our population is
covered up.
growing.
You
We've
bet.
got a population that needs to interact with the healthcare system more. And so we are really purposefully thinking about access and where we can bring those physicians, those nurses, those care providers closer to our patients. And I think we'll be able to do that with Pleasant View.
Oh, I think so too. And it's just a beautiful thing. Now, is this the only site we're doing, or do we have another one?
So this is the only site that we're working on
Right.
with Northcrest.
Okay.
There are multiple other freestanding ERs within the TriStar market around Nashville
Right.
that are in various stages of construction. Again, with this idea of many of this exploding population of Nashville are finding it burdensome to get into the downtown centers that have historically been there for many years. And so an ER in the freestanding ER capacity can help stabilize those patients for acute strokes, for heart attacks even. There's medications and procedures that we can get started in a freestanding ER that will save your life.
Yeah.
As opposed to waiting to get into town. I think another really important element of this is just what it means for our emergency medical services, our ambulances that are out on the road. We have have,
yeah.
they talk about strapped and dealing with the best they can. We've got a large geographic area, broad populace, and there's limited resources. And so what the freestanding ER will allow both the Robertson County EMS as well as Cheatham County EMS, and we also get from Logan, Kentucky area, is the ability to offload those patients into the next level of care with Dr. Gross and teams like his, and then get back into the community so that they can respond. And so a freestanding ER is very usually well received by the emergency medical services because that time is given back to them instead of waiting in traffic on 24 or 40 and having to go into a downtown center.
We've talked about that when Mayor Billy Vogel, County Mayor Billy Vogel's been in because of the, having the need for more ambulances and stuff. And when they're having to travel so far to hand off a patient to emergency medical, it just, like you said, they get stuck in traffic. They can't get around because we've got 2-lane roads and all these things. And so it's just a critical, asset to our infrastructure. And I love where you're positioning it because, like you said, between the Clarksville, Nashville area is almost like that void.
Yes.
And that is a long stretch.
Yes.
That is a long stretch if you're in a life-threatening situation.
Well, you're a Clarksvillian.
I
Yeah.
am. I Yep, I
know.
do drive. I think, and preparing for today, I did a little bit of reading. I was surprised by what I found, and it helped me to understand the importance of what's happening here, because freestanding ERs are kind of relatively new.
Yeah.
Right. I think in 2001 there were 50 of them in the country, and then by 2018, there were like 745 of them.
Wow.
And they saw 94 million people in 2018.
That's incredible.
But out of the 745, what I was reading is only 1.2% of those were in rural areas. The other ones were in urban areas. And so 1.2% of freestanding ERs in 2018 in an area such as Pleasant View. Bringing a freestanding ER to Pleasant View is huge.
It is.
And we talk about access and people being able to get the care that they need without having to drive far and decompressing our healthcare system. I don't want to undersell how the magnitude of this and how it's going to benefit the community. And I think we are lucky as a healthcare system, and the patients are lucky as patients to be able to participate and go into this venture with us.
I agree. And it's so funny. I remember we had a neighbor, he has passed since, that whenever we were first getting Northcrest going and all of these things, he moved from the road we lived on almost next door to the hospital because he was an older gentleman. He's like, I know where I need to be. And so you see, the older you get, you see the value of being near a hospital. And you had these folks out in that area that are like, think about how long it would take for me to get from here to here.
Yes, ma'am.
If I have a life-threatening emergency, if I'm having a heart attack, will I make it? Well, can they get me there?
Absolutely.
And I mean, it is a game changer. So I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled to see it. I love everything that's going. I've got a couple of kids that work for HCA, and it's just been a great company for our family. We've had just wonderful experiences, and so everything that I've seen. I had an emergency room visit a couple of years ago, I guess, and it was something we had no idea what was going on after a knee operation, and I was really petrified that I was having a blood clot or something. I can't say enough about it. Was middle of the night up here at Northcrest where I went in, and I mean, they were on it. They knew what was going on. It's not a blood clot. We're good. I mean, eased my mind just like that. And the way they treated me, I cannot say enough about the professionalism, the way they calmed me, all of these things. It was just a beautiful experience.
Yeah. We talk a lot about suffering in healthcare.
Yeah.
And there is inherent suffering that comes with healthcare just naturally when you're dealing with illness and sickness and injury. And then there's avoidable suffering.
Right.
And so that avoidable suffering is what we in our team spend a lot of time thinking about. And you mentioned that, like, letting your anxiety down in the ER, and that's what we do. Human nature, we think about, what could be the worst thing that's happening, and how do I get an answer to resolve that? That's what emergency medicine's there in many instances to provide, is to give you that assurance, that peace of mind that, it's not as acute as it could be, but here's the next things that we're going to get going for you. And I think again, about access to care, and whether it's an emergency medicine or whether it's you've got a gastroenterologist that's right around the corner and you don't have to wait 6 weeks to get into somebody, you can see them in the next couple of days.
Yeah.
That time save is that avoidable suffering being saved. And so, whether it's minutes mattering or being able to get in, in a week as opposed to multiple weeks, like that's what we're thinking of as we expand Northcrest, as we bring more physicians to the community, as we build new buildings, is just how do we be able to spread that healthcare network more broadly in our community so that avoidable suffering has a chance to be decreased.
Well, and it's beautiful. And I'm, like I said, I can have from personal experience, just say, way to go. Very good. And I have a friend down in near Pleasant View that had a heart attack. And of course, now he would have the access of the emergency care down there. And he got up here in Northcrest and they saved his life. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And I've got just story after story of you guys getting it done here in the community, and we appreciate it very much. But I love that we're doing this once a month, just coming in and talking, because there are so many resources here people don't realize are here now. And Brittany did a great job kind of pointing me to some here in the community. I'm like, oh, I didn't know we had that. I didn't know we had that. And I've just had my eyes open to a lot of things and have brought just about everything, back to the county. And I appreciate that from y'all very much, for sure. What are we missing that we need to cover and want to make sure that people know about our, freestanding ER or anything else that you've got going on?
I think the ER is definitely our front door. We see at Northcrest around 85% of our patients who end up getting admitted come through our ER. And so we know that that's a big source of that. But there's many other patients that aren't admitted to Northcrest because of a higher acuity condition. And so I think it's important to know that Pleasant View ER, while it will be a Northcrest facility, we also have access to the broader TriStar system. And so whether that be our top-notch trauma center at Skyline, whether that be all the complex care from a cardiovascular, neurosurgical standpoint, you can get it. Skyline and Centennial. You have access to that through that ER just as easily as if you would have been in a facility associated with that hospital. So again, around the network and how do we, connect all of these resources so that these physicians can speak with one another. And, Dr. Gross, if he's working a night shift in the Pleasant View ER, he can call the hospitalists at Centennial and give him the full presentation of what that admitted patient's going to be. And that handoff's as seamless as if that patient was in the ER at Centennial.
Yeah, and I've had those experiences where I know they're like, well, we need to call this doctor because they're here and they're on duty here, and have seen that, and it's just a beautiful relationship. I've got a question for you.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
kind of went through your things that you do, and I don't know what this the DO means. What?
Doctor of Osteopathic Medicine.
Osteopathic medicine. What is that? Because when you said that, we kind of went through it real quick, and I'm like, if we have time, I want to come back to that. What is that?
Okay, all right.
I'm
Well,
so
you're-
happy
Okay,
that you
okay,
get to do
okay,
that. You get to
Oh, good.
Okay.
Good.
So let's traditional. A doctor of medicine is taught how to treat. That's how traditional doctors.
Right,
They're taught
right.
to treat a wide spectrum of medical conditions with medications and procedures to help heal people back to health. The way that osteopathic medicine differs is that we do the same. We treat with medications and procedures and all those things, except in our training, we learn some hands-on medicine, right?
Okay.
Sometimes a patient's ailment or pain can only be relieved if you learn certain massage techniques or manipulations or chiropractic techniques. Or if I put your arm in a certain position, I can take your arm pain away. So the osteopathic part teaches you how to heal with your hands
Awesome.
by using massage modalities, partly chiropractic, partly repositioning people to relieve musculoskeletal pain.
Yeah.
And so that's what I loved about it, because sometimes a medication can't fix pain, right? Sometimes you need to make an adjustment to a person's body in order to fix new pain or old pain and things like that. So osteopathic just means that you have hands-on medicines, hands-on techniques and medicine to help the skeletal system and bones in the body.
I'm so thrilled to hear this, because I have always done chiropractic because I am super tall and I have always been very athletic. I've had my hips replaced, my knees replaced, a shoulder replaced because I I ran for years and years. And they're like, you're really too big of a girl to be running. It's going to be really hard on your joints because you have arthritis in your family and all this. And they were right. And so I have all this structural stuff going on, and it has helped me so much. And to hear that you're embracing all of this, it's just beautiful to me, because it's something that I've always felt strong about. And there's a lot of medical doctors that don't want anything to do with chiropractic.
Yes, ma'am.
And you hear that a lot. And so, man, it's just so, when I heard that, I was like, what is that? I've never heard of that. I knew it had something to do structurally because of the ortho part of it. I'm
Yes,
like,
ma'am.
I picked that up.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm a smart girl. I know that part. But then there was another essence to it. I was like, I don't understand that. That is really cool. Now, how long have you been in practice?
This will be year 9. Oh, we're going on 10 years.
Bless you.
I got a couple gray hairs to prove it too.
No, come on. That's great. That's awesome.
Year
Well,
9.
very cool.
We definitely have some physicians such as our medical director, Dr. Anani, and who are my seniors who have been doing this 15, 20 years.
That's really cool.
So we have great leadership over at Northcrest that brings along younger physicians such as myself and sets the culture and expectations. And that's something that we're looking to move forward into the Pleasant View location as well.
That's really cool. It's like, I love that. I just love that. That is what, I mean, this is just, it's innovative, and it's back to some of the basics too about the structural stuff. You know, I'm one of these people, I have a wedge that I sit on all
Yes,
the
ma'am.
time. And everybody's like, why do you do that? It's because of my posture.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
the way seats are not made for your body structure.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they indent, and it's like, oh, that's real comfy until you try to, you know, straighten your spine up, and it's all wonky.
Now I'm
You know,
self-conscious about-
yeah, that's your posture. I mean, it's everything. And it's just in the fact that you've got the medical field that's seeing that. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. That's beautiful.
Yes, ma'am.
That's really cool.
That's something that I really wanted to, that's the kind of doctor that I wanted to be, because I realized
Awesome.
like sometimes, you know, medications don't fix everything.
Amen.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Pain medicine sometimes you can cover up pain,
Yeah.
but you got to get to the root of the issue
Yeah.
really to fix it sometimes. And
Yeah.
so it makes a world of difference being able to use your hands to help heal people as well. You know?
I'm thrilled we got to talk about the difference.
I think
And-
that's great.
And I think it's important to know also that
Get right
you
up
know,
on that
sorry
microphone
about
for
that.
me. Yeah.
That our doctors of osteopathic medicine and our medical doctors are all board certified from
Uh-huh.
the same boards. They take the same tests. They are competency validated. It's really just a holistic, you know, slight difference in
love it.
approach of how we, you know, handle care.
That's really cool.
And so, you know, that's really important, particularly, you know, in the differentiation as we expand access. There are more DOs today than there probably ever have been. And
Most
I
definitely.
think you're seeing the differentiation in the medical community where MD and DO are really quite synonymous these days because you end up taking subspecialized boards or residencies and fellowships in whatever area of specialty you end up wanting to focus. And that training is relatively homogenous. So.
That's really
Well
amazing.
said.
And I had no idea this was happening. And I
Yes.
love it. I love it. Because I'm one of these people. I'm blessed to have a very high pain threshold. I don't like taking pain meds.
Mhm.
And I just don't. And you know, my joint replacement doctor and my husband and I both, we just really fight back on that stuff. Because one thing, I work in the recovery community and I see what it can do. And so
Yes.
I really fight against that stuff. And to see y'all embracing that and saying, you know, let's see if we can do something without the pain meds. I just think that's beautiful. But it's good. It's good. See what we learned today. This is great. I love it.
There you go.
That is so cool. Are we missing anything? We're basically out of time here, but we can take an extra moment if we're missing anything.
I don't think so. I appreciate this opportunity to highlight great physicians like
Absolutely.
Dr. Gross and these series to be able to educate our community a little bit more about what's going on with healthcare in this area. So.
It's beautiful. And our goal is to have you guys in here on the third Thursday at 7:30. Now, sometimes we have to adjust because of people's schedules. And appreciate Brian Pulley for, you know, moving his schedule around to accommodate us too. And because that's with United Way, we check in with them all the time. But what a great asset to our community. I'm so thrilled. So we've got our freestanding emergency. I mean, we're less than a year by spring.
That's right.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome. That's great news. And we just appreciate all you guys, what you're doing at TriStar Northcrest.
Thank you so much.
It's a beautiful thing. Thank you. So nice to meet you.
Nice to
So
meet
nice
you
to
as
see
well.
you
You as
again.
well.
And thank you guys for joining us. Hey, we'll do it. I love it. You know he's a young doctor because he's doing he's getting his picks
Gotta
in.
commemorate the moment.
You got it. Absolutely. Nice to meet you. We'll see you guys later. And thank you guys for joining us tomorrow. For Faith Friday, Patrick Nix is coming in from Fluellen. Going to get a chance to talk to him. Lee Marie wanted me to remind y'all, though, too, that the folks over at Epiphany, they have a school bash coming up. It's the Back to School with Jesus, and that's happening on Saturday at 10 a.m. Would have loved to have had a slot to have brought them in to talk about that, but we'll try to touch on that as well tomorrow, because one of the things that Patrick, it's just like when I've had David Evans in and I've mentioned Patrick Nix and Fluellen and all those things. And we just all want to get you closer to Jesus. As David says, Dr. David Evans says, we want to make it hard to go to hell from Robertson County, right? Well, that's what our Faith Friday segments are all about. We want to make sure you know that Ebenezer Broadcasting is a worldwide Christian broadcast facility right here in the heart of Robertson County. And it is an opportunity to just share Christ with the entire globe through the internet and right here on our terrestrial signal through 1100 WSGI and on the Spanish-speaking side on WDBL. So we appreciate you being a part of it. We appreciate Ebenezer Broadcasting for all that you do, and we hope that you will join us tomorrow. Thank you for being here today. This is, and don't forget to go to Go Night tonight at Greenbrier High School. We're going to be there from about 4 o'clock to 7, I think. Springfield has an open house for the upperclassmen tonight as well. You can pick up your computers and all that. So I know those two schedules because Mark is at Springfield and I'm at Greenbrier. And if you've got questions about your open house, just get on the Robertson County Schools website, click on your school, and you can get their schedule and find out when the rest of the open houses will be. And we appreciate you being here. This is 1100 WSGI. God bless you. Have a great day.
He was just a carpenter by trade. He learned from his father.